Hello, everybody. We are not officially starting the podcast yet, but we are kind of in a holding pattern for a couple of the guys. So I figured since the chat was pretty active today, I figured I'd pop in a little bit early. And then once we actually start the pod, we'll do the music and all that stuff. But I want to say what's up. How's everyone feeling? Probably not great. I was looking through the chat earlier and saw that we had a lot of comments about what was going wrong in the game. We'll get into that in a little bit. It looks like we got Dylan joining soon. Um, but yeah, I wanted to pop in here. Let me see. Dylan, we are live, so if you're good to go, give me a thumbs up and I'll let you in. Or I'll just text you on the side. Yeah, the Thunder hate Vegas. That's right. Who needs the NBA Cup anyway? The new big didn't play a minute, Matthias. They signed Brendan Carlson. I don't know how much he was going to help tonight, to be honest. I don't think that was what lost this game. Was the absence of Brendan Carlson. Yeah, I mean the small ball BS, if you want to call it that, is worked with Suns and it worked whoever played before that. I can't remember now. But I think guys are tired. I think teams are kind of figuring it out. Gonna need to make some adjustments. Every time we lack the size, we lose. I agree. Has been a trending problem. Dub was a pretty good 5 for a minute. He was balling at a 5 for a minute. Okay. Dylan is good, so I'm going to let him in.
What's up?
We're live. I'm doing a little pre-pod thing, so we'll cut this. But the chat was a little active, so.
I understand.
I figured we'd do this while we wait for Alex. I didn't know if he was still joining or not, but we'll give him a second.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you shot him a text yet?
No, I just
I'll shoot him a text.
But yeah, got a lot of questions about whether we need a big man, Dylan.
Well, I mean, yes and no. It's kind of my answer, like just off rip, because sure, like it would be nice to have one in the interim, but at the same time, Hartenstein's supposed to be back soon, and
Yeah.
it depends on how you feel about it. Because a lot of people are. I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and they was like, Hartenstein's not going to fix this by himself. He can't play 48 minutes a game, which he's right. But I mean, small ball like this micro ball experiment, it's worked. In different areas. I think the issue is teams have 3 games of film of it now. They know a little bit how to counter it. And that's kind of screwed us up. But if you can if you could play it in spurts, you could play it like 8-minute segments in the game where Hartenstein's on the bench or something like that, I still think it can work. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like whenever we first started employing it, I was like, yeah, it's really fun. It's cool that it's working. I don't know how sustainable this is. No. And that's turned out to be the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're doing a little bit of the sky is falling, I think, online right now. I think coming off of that loss, it definitely stings, and I think you're looking for a short-term solution. And I don't know what good that's going to really do. I also don't know, like, Brendan Carlson is our only big right now. So, like, I think that's honestly your best option. I don't know who else you're going to get out there. Dwight Howard is on the free market. Let's go pick him up.
He made the push to get signed by
I
us, but
know.
no, I mean a lot of people are like, why isn't Brendan Carlson playing? I'm like, sure, I mean,
It
to a
won't
point,
matter.
like yeah, if Adam Flagler's playing, like sure, why not let Brendan Carlson get any minutes? But he's not fixing what we just saw. Like,
No.
and I think a lot of people are confused about who Brendan Carlson is as a player because they see 7-footer and they're like, oh, he's the guy that go get us
Rim
rebounds. Like he
protector.
averaged
Yeah.
well, not even that. He averaged like 4 rebounds in college. Like he's a floor spacer at
Yeah.
the big.
He's a
He's
he's a shooter. Yeah.
he's like a Mike Muscala light, and like we didn't expect Mike Muscala to go down there and bang inside either. So
T is hot in the chat. A local
T's
here.
T's
He's
man,
hot in
I
the
feel.
chat.
I mean,
I'm
I
hot too. I'm a little hot too.
yeah, I mean, I get it. Like it's annoying. Like it sucks 100%, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
bad loss. But there's things to point to. There's reasons why we lost this game
Several.
that are fixable. Like it's I'm not like I'm annoyed that we lost, but like I'm not worried like in the slightest about it.
No. There's things I think we can change. There's also a couple of maybe one or two things that we may not be able to change on our own, but
Dude, I saw a stat about Adam
fixable.
Flagler that just like kind of made me mad, and it sucks because I'm not trying to pick on Adam Flagler. Like I like him as a
No.
G League guy. He seems like a fun guy around the team. The guys like him and stuff. But and I also get that he was playing the quote unquote Isaiah Joe role, but at a certain point, like if you're in a couple minutes in the game, yeah, Cone said he's going to join too.
Cool.
Um, a couple minutes into the game, if you realize, hey, I'm not hitting anything. I've missed 3 wide open threes. Like I get it, shoot or shoot, but we don't really have the luxury to kind of let him work himself out through that. Like if he's not working, like AJ Mitchell's played great all season. AJ Mitchell started out the game playing pretty good. Let's put AJ Mitchell back out there. But no, we kept Adam Flagler in there. So
I I I do have two things. Like one, I think you mentioned it. Like 10 minutes for Flagler is crazy, and like
yeah,
1 of 8 shooting on top of that. I think it's one that's kind of crazy on Mark because you like Wiggins also had 20 minutes, I noticed, which I was like, how are you justifying like 20 for Wiggins but 10 for Flagler? And Wiggins is actually like shooting decently, who was like one of the few, him and Kaysen basically, and Shea. But then you've got Flagler taking 8 threes and he makes one of them, and they're like all wide open too. It wasn't even like contested. It was like Shea was getting him good looks. So it was both on Mark and I think on Flagler. Like that to me is like if you're a guy who's meant to be a shooter in the G League, but you're coming up here to do that too, you can't go 1 of 8. If he's 1 of 4, which he was at one point, you gotta take him out. He can't be chucking up 4 more misses. That's just
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, you kind of said we've kind of already started the pod, so I mean, we can get into it if you want to.
I don't mind. We gotta it was just throw out an option. We've already we should start talking about all the points because I think people
Yeah.
want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, I don't know if this is more on Mark Flagler or Jalen Williams, but Adam Flagler had more field goal attempts in the second and third quarters than Jalen Williams did.
Yeah, it's hard for me to differentiate what part of that is that Shea was trying to take over a lot and Dub was kind of getting out of the way, and if it is on the other side where Dub was too conservative and not aggressive enough. I really don't know. He didn't.
Yeah,
It definitely felt like eyeball test. He wasn't doing enough because I mean, like he was hitting a lot. Like that first quarter, he was like so locked in from the mid range. Like I wanted to see more of that.
yeah, no, he was. I mean, he was getting to his spots in the mid range. He was getting downhill, getting to the rim. Did he even take a 3-pointer tonight?
He did. He took 6 and he missed them all.
Bro, I don't even remember, and that might be why.
Yeah,
Um,
he missed
yeah,
them all, Dylan.
because that's what it's funny. That's the shot that brought us back in the game before
Yeah.
against the Mavericks was in the fourth quarter. He started knocking down threes,
Yeah, he
but
was just off there.
yeah, I'm just just an off night shooting, and yeah,
Yeah.
I know we got some opinions about the shots being taken. So if you wanna bring in our co-host here and see what they're saying.
I don't see him in here.
He said he's backstage.
I don't see him backstage.
You liar!
I don't see him. I'm looking at my guest list right now. He's not in here.
I can also see that nobody's there. All right. Anyways, well, that was a tease for no reason.
But
Apologize
yeah,
for that.
the what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the other thing too with just like the shooting in general, like I get that, some nights are not your night. Like we were just missing shots. It happens. It's just the combination of that and when you just make so many out of like just mistakes that you don't normally see from this team. It's the two combinations that's so frustrating because when you're not hitting your shots, you can't make those mistakes. And like the fourth quarter, like the freaking Dort, like
Mm,
that fast break where I don't even know how to explain what happened in verbally, but he basically like traveled because he like completely botched the layup and then passed it to himself. That was just a crazy play. And then like who was it? Not Flagler. Mitchell just dribbled the ball off of himself. That was like an easy 2 points. There were just like those mistakes. It's just like you can't have like unforced errors when you're also not hitting when you should be hitting 50 some
yeah.
odd threes and only hitting less than a third of them, 30%. And you had Dort, like T said in the chat, short circuited. He's kind of coming down to earth a little bit with his shooting too.
Low
Um,
key, I think the last play of the Mavericks game might have broke Lou Dort. And I don't think it's like a long term broke, but and I'm kind of saying this tongue in cheek
yeah,
too, but I used the same term on Twitter. I said Dort short circuited there at the end because he like
he
he like
had a
hesit
shot.
he hesitated his hesitation on the last
Yeah,
shot,
he had
and
a shot for sure.
yeah, it didn't. Obviously, it didn't go, and then it just felt like everything was off tonight.
We got to stop doing the thing where we go down like 20 points in the second half and then try to claw our way back because we seem to always be like one shot away or two shots away. Because yeah, that Dallas game, that Dort shot would have been a crazy comeback. Tonight we weren't really that close, but yeah, I don't know. I really did think he was gonna make a leap at the 3 point volume and the 3 point efficiency this year, but I don't know. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon.
No, see, I see. That's the thing. Like that's what I said on Twitter too. And like I said, I say in tongue in cheek about him short circuiting tonight. I don't think this is a testament to Lou Dort's season. Like we can't let recency bias ruin what Dort's done offensively this season so far. Like he's been great for us offensively, not just as a shooter, but also as a cutter and as a finisher. Tonight, he just reverted a little bit. Shots weren't falling. That happens sometimes, and he, as T said, he short circuited at the rim a few times, and it's unfortunate that happened, but like that doesn't mean it's going to happen the rest of the year. Like we have a pretty good sample size of the beginning of the year of him playing better, and that's what I'm choosing to believe until we see a full further body of work of him short circuiting. And I hope that tonight is the last time that we associate Lou Dort and short circuiting in the same sentence for the foreseeable future.
Um, I didn't really know what to title this.
Yeah, I do not like your title, by the way.
This was before the game. I didn't really know what else to do,
I
but
still don't like it.
let me I'll change it. It's fine. By the time people watch this later on, it'll be different. But right now, it's called the Thunder's Kryptonite. So let me ask you, Dylan,
Ooh.
PJ Washington or Keldon Johnson in that first half? Which of the two?
Man, I don't know. What was did Kelton do anything on the glass? He only had 5
No.
rebounds.
Keldon Johnson, by the way, almost won that game for us because he was so overly confident in the second half.
Yeah, he airballed one. It was
He
great.
was so bad. But yeah, the
Uh,
first half he was crazy.
I mean, if you're going recency bias, it's Keldon because like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't just making threes that he doesn't makes. Um, like he was making ridiculous threes and he was making high volume threes. Like PJ, as good of a game as he had against us, he only hit 2 threes. Keldon hit 6 tonight. And not only
And
six
very
threes,
difficult threes.
yeah, not only 6 threes, that dunk that he had
That was pretty
over
good.
Shea and Dub, that's I kind of think that's what sparked the entire run. I would like to see, kind of
There's
what the score
something in the
was.
water over there.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the score was for that, but
I don't know.
yeah, I think that sparked the run. But yeah, I mean, it sucks for me because these are guys that I rooted for in college, Keldon Johnson and PJ Washington, and they're doing me dirty, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, just very unnecessary to mention that they're both from Kentucky in a time of pain, but
Hey, Shay's also from Kentucky, so
yeah, that doesn't help.
there's somebody else from Kentucky too that played good this tonight.
He remembered he's a 40-point shooter from three from last season. Finally remembered. How
Dude,
about that?
Case looked great, man. I mean, he had
Yeah.
7 points in the first quarter, and it kind of trailed off, just kind of like the rest of the game did in the second and third. But in the fourth quarter, he made a big three. I think he had a couple plays, in penetration, and tied the team high for assists with Shea, 7 assists. Like super impressed. Just like without looking, I'm pretty sure that's his career high in assists. Like, you can fact check me if you want to, but like just like off the eye test, I feel like that's his career high in assists. And yeah, I mean, I thought he looked great. The three, it's not like the shots look bad all year, but it looks a lot better when it goes in. It was going in tonight, 3 of 5, so I like it.
Yeah. It was very very refreshing because I was definitely getting worried about it. I'm trying to resend the link for our co-host who's still not in here for some reason, but says he is. But yeah, Kaysen looked good. I was very happy with him. He was basically like one of the few bright spots. And Wiggins was a bright spot mostly like in the shooting department, but that's kind of what you needed. I don't know what else you can do for like I don't know. I felt like people were getting on to Shea a little bit tonight. I was like, I don't know what else he can do. And I also think that we're beating a dead horse with this, but one of the factors to all of this that we have to keep looking at is he's just like not getting calls. There was one I put out where it was very egregious,
What?
but like the more like it's happening to the point where it's like too 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 often. And you can look at the free throw rate, you can look at the free throw attempts compared to the other team. We're getting out free throwed every game, -2 this season. So I think all of that is just to say like that that's a contributing factor here for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple plays I saw Shea get to the rim that he finished, but he didn't get the foul call. That I literally saw the game before, and the Celtics Cavs get called like every single time. So I don't know, and there, there's a troll in the chat. He's killing me. He's calling us front runners.
I
Like
love
front
it.
run. The whole point of front runners is like you're very high. Like you're hyping up your team whenever you're winning. Like we're losing. I'm chill, bro. Like I'm not worried about it. I still think we're the best team in the West. I still think
Shea,
we're up there for the best team in the league. So
Shea gets the most calls in the league, statistically wrong. Just like
incorrect.
just I could give you like I just tweeted out numbers that prove all of that completely wrong. It's just such a wildly incorrect take, sir.
Shea is
Uh,
nothing without free throws tonight. Shea without free throws, 27 points. So I mean,
yeah,
whatever you
five
say,
of
big dog.
six. The Thunder had 7 free throws tonight. 7 total as a team.
That's ridiculous.
7 free throws, my good sir.
Oh my god. Yeah, Jalen Williams got the other one.
Yep.
I do got.
The free throw. I mean, this was a game that was not. There was just not a lot of whistles on either side, but it's the comparison between what the other team is getting versus what we are getting. I don't want to pick on it because it just seems like petty or whatever to keep bringing up specific plays throughout a game, being like, look at this, look at this. But at some point, you have to like connect all the dots and be like, what's happening here? What is the reason for all of this? I don't really know. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I do got a, a funny stat that I just realized. We
please.
actually won the rebound battle tonight. We won by 1 point, 47
That's
46.
that. Well, we did have like 3 rebounds right at the end there when we missed all those threes. That could have been. I guess that
Without looking, do you know who led us and who led our team in rebounds?
I already saw, so I know. But
Actually, he led the game in rebounds. Ludor had 12 rebounds, 6
I was
offensive.
I was surprised Dub had 10. I did not
Yeah.
see that.
Oh, it looks like I think we have Cone in. Oh no, I
I
see.
don't know. I've yet to let Alex in because he has not told me whether he's
We
ready or
have 2
not.
Alexes.
So I just see, yeah, I don't want to put him on the live stream yet unless he's ready to go. But hopefully he'll be here soon. Dealing with technology. It looks like he's on the road. He might have been. Well, I guess
Might
he
have
wouldn't be
lost
at the
signal or
game
something like that.
or lost signal. We'll see. He might be back. And he's gone. Um, yeah, I don't know, dude. This was like I get very Jerry-esque in these games where I get very negative about it, and then I have to sort of like take a step back. I was very mad at the Flagler thing. I was very mad at the Shea foul not being called thing. I was very mad at just the shooting in general, those stupid mistakes at the end. It was just all like it all just culminated in me being very mad. So I'm mad. I'm a little mad right now.
He big mad. Oh, somebody that I know's not mad. He might be a little frustrated, but he's smiling right now. It's the one, the only 3 Cone. What up, Cone?
Hey, yeah,
Yeah,
webcam was giving me problems. I don't think it wanted me to talk about this game. I'm all right. I'm fine. Yeah, it's bad loss. Bad losses happen. We lost the Pistons last year by the 1 seed. It's fine. Like I always think about how the 73-9 Warriors lost to the Lakers that year that had like 20 wins. Bad losses happen. It's the NBA. So
the Celtics were like what 17-point favorites to the Hawks, and then promptly lost that game.
yeah, they
So
lost to the Hawks without Trey. So bad losses happen. The issue is not having big men because right now the defense is scrambling and helping off a lot of shooters, and it's leading to guys lighting us up. Kind of reminds me a lot of 2023, where that season Chet didn't play when he was supposed to have his rookie year, and it was like mainly Jay Will and not a lot behind him. So yeah, we're just having to play a lot of small ball. When Nyhart comes back, it's going to fix a lot of the issues. We gave up a bunch of second chance points tonight, a lot of opportunities. Like Charles Bassey isn't going off if Isaiah Hartenstein is down low. So we just hopefully have one more game to get through against the Blazers, who aren't going to have DeAndre Ayton in that game. We just got to get through that one, and then hopefully Isaiah Hartenstein is back, and things will be a lot better. Because between tomorrow and our next game, there's 5 days. We don't play till the 25th after tomorrow.
Yep.
So, we'll be fine. I'm seeing a lot of people that were freaking out about it on the timeline and stuff, drawing up a lot of think pieces. It's a game in November when you don't have one of the most impactful players in the entire league in Chet Holmgren. So,
but Dwight Howard, Cone. What about Dwight Howard?
Hey, they should put the dude who looks like me, Brendan Carlson, in the game. They should put me in.
Yeah, he would have fixed it for sure.
Hey, you know who we should put in the game right now? He's been waiting. He's been waiting for his opportunity. The one, the only, coming from the Batmobile himself, Alejandro. What up, Alex?
What up,
moving
man?
moving Batmobile.
Yeah, man. I'm out here patrolling Gotham, making sure that everything is okay after this loss. I just want to make sure that Lawton, Oklahoma is doing okay, and it is. So that's what I'm doing.
We appreciate your service, sir.
Yeah, man, that was a crappy loss right there.
It was poopy.
But I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, so teams now have X amount of game tape on us, especially using this small lineup. since Chet went out. They know that we are sinking into the middle. They know that, a couple passes and they have an open jumper, an open 3-point shooter, somewhere on the floor. And this is a shooting league, and eventually that's going to start to catch up to us. We're tired. You can tell on the shortness of a lot of our 3-point attempts that we are tired ourselves. We're expending so much energy on the defensive end of the floor. And we're having to make up for the physicality that we're losing without having a big man. And so it's just all mounting up. Once we get iHeart in there, a couple games of to kind of settle him in, I think we'll be fine. But I think we're just starting to see the groans and the death throes of playing small ball all the time. Like, it's not, this is still a big man league. This is still a basketball where height kind of reigns supreme still, and we're suffering from that.
Yeah, the guys definitely look gassed out there. They're having to exert a lot of energy, whether it's between games, it's in the singular game. It's tough to play small ball. There's a reason teams don't do it. Every team has some big guys. So it's one of those things where when I think iHeart coming back is going to make, like, people are freaking out and stuff. And it is going to be a lot tougher without Chet for a while. We knew this. I don't know why some people are surprised that it's more difficult without the front runner for defensive player of the year when he went down, who was giving us a lot of great offense, who sets up a lot of our offense through his defense, was really improving in terms of rebounding. Like, I don't know why people are surprised that the team is worse when Chet has gone down. We were never going to completely dominate the way that we will when Chet comes back, which is really kind of what we're just doing now. You just got to stay afloat as long as you can, do as much as you can until Chet returns, just maintain one of those top few spots. And then when Chet comes back, everything will be fine. So, yeah, I saw T in chat say, should we be concerned with Alex Caruso's offense? I'm not really concerned. Caruso has these ups and downs sometimes, specifically in seasons. There are years where he has a good 3-point percentage, but for portions of the year, he really struggles. We're like, what? This was game 15, game 16?
15.
Right, I think it was game 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was game 15. I'm never going to worry about 15 games in a season. It's such a long year. With Caruso, he's been able to do, knock down shots for a lot of his career. So I'm not really worried, not at all. I really do think adding, just in general for everybody, adding the screening of like an Isaiah Hartenstein is going to drastically improve this team. Plus, not only him, but when we get J-Will back too, adding another big body who can at least do some type of screening. I think that's another reason why guys are gassed out there, is because not only are they having to, battle consistently with a lot bigger players on the defensive end, but offensively, it's requiring a lot more energy to create shots without anybody setting a screen. So that'll be something big that helps. Like, Hartenstein's going to make such a massive difference that I don't think people realize. Like, people are freaking out, like, oh, we're doomed until Chet comes back. It's like all over once iHeart's back in the lineup. We'll be good. We'll be okay. Yeah.
I did my general thought process for this game when he was going through the shooting slump, after he had that air ball today, and that was obviously not good. The next shot rimmed out, and my actual thought in my head was, oh, well, at least it almost went in. And that's kind of where I am at Caruso shooting right now. I'm just happy it's close. So I'm not saying that I'm checked out of his ability to shoot, or I don't think he can, but we're just in a really bad spot. And I think I totally agree with Cohen. The shooting is going to get there when we have the big man to set screens, get some separation. So it all sort of ties together.
I mean, I think that you could see the tiredness in the Thunder in that they had to play Adam Flagler today.
They did not, though.
They did. Yeah, they basically did. You replace Adam Flagler's minutes with Isaiah Joe, and it's a different story. Probably it's a different game. The thing is, we're still the youngest team in the league, and there are going to be games where we play like the youngest team in the league sometimes. And tonight was an opportunity for guys like Flagler, guys like Dylan Jones, to get out there and kind of test their mettle a little bit. And it just didn't quite work out. It really felt like a tank game tonight with all those young guys in there. And we kind of played like that for most of the game. And so, there are nights where our youth is going to show, and it did tonight.
Yeah, my thing with Adam Flagler is And I kind of talked with Tierney about it earlier. It's like I get you want to give him minutes, try him out, but like I think he started the game over 3, and I get the whole shoot mentality, but at that point we were starting to tread water in terms of like getting buckets offensively, and also the Spurs were starting to build a lead. It's like at some point AJ Mitchell's been playing great. AJ Mitchell started the game playing great. He played 3 more minutes than Adam Flagler did. Like I would have dispersed his minutes between him and heck, even Dylan Jones at this point, or Usman Jang, who's only played 3 minutes in this game, and like he didn't do anything bad while he was out there. This isn't me, even me being a Jang apologist. It's just like why not? Like you're already everybody is begging for Brendan Carlson to go out there. Why not just stick Ooze out there? He's been good in his minutes, so I don't know.
I did just see Joel had a quote from Mark Dagnall post game about Flagler's minutes. So he said, "With Joe out, I thought he'd give us a little bit of that role. He's been really consistent for a long period of time and a low mistake player, and he's got shooting gravity. Obviously, he didn't shoot well tonight, but he did what we asked him to do, which is be reliable on defense, hunt shots on offense. It would be unfair to judge him in his first real stretch of minutes in the regular season for shot making elements." Which, that's fair. I think like Mark is the coach. He's going to make the decisions. I still, this is just personally, I would have kind of, once he went like 1 of 4 tonight because of the situation, like where we were trying to get back in the game, probably would have moved those minutes somewhere else, give him another shot when he's feeling a little bit more in rhythm. But again, that's not why I'm the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he is. So I think his comment, though, is fair on that.
Yeah, I mean, missing Joe was tough tonight. Could have really used his shooting and the spacing that he brings to the table. Yeah, I mean, teams go through some injuries. We had really good injury luck last season, so we were bound to have a little bit of regression on that front, and it's been tough to start the year with Chet, Ihart, Caruso, Joe. Everybody's been in and out of the lineup outside of like Shea and Dub, which knock on wood, cross fingers, knock on wood again, that we don't see anything there. But yeah, man, injuries pop up, and they're still 11-4, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Last year by this point we had a few bad losses, or like tough losses, like where it's like we should have had that one. I mean, we had that one game where we got slaughtered by the Nuggets, like game 3 of the season. Yeah, just got annihilated. Not that the Nuggets are a bad loss, but I believe we started 3-3 last season, if I remember correctly.
Great. Let me double check.
I believe we started 3-3. So, people, of course, the Thunder have massive expectations coming to the season. People are like, could this team win 65 games? And some people are like, could they win 70? And we start off with one of the best defenses ever. Like, there are always going to be high expectations. There are going to be ups and downs. I don't know. I'm not really worried at all about this team. It's going to be fine. Small sample size on a lot of stuff, but it's one of those things where when this team gets healthy, they'll be okay. Yeah, we lost to Detroit T. I think that was a little bit later in the season. It wasn't quite by this point.
That's Super Bowl right. Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that was Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, we lost to Detroit, which obviously terrible loss last season. We're one of their 14 wins, and we still got the 1 seed in the Western Conference. So, yeah, wow. People just it's tough not to get caught up in the moment. I mean, throughout the game, I was getting frustrated too, but like, I don't think playing Adam Flagler lost us that game or anything like that. His shot wasn't falling tonight. They kind of had him just try and play that Isaiah Joe role, and he's not as reliable as a shooter as Isaiah Joe, because Zay is one of the more reliable shooters in the league. But, I don't hate the idea of trying to see if he can knock down some shots. I would have liked to see a little bit more of Ooze. I agree. I want to give a shout out to Shea, the way that he completely backpacked in that third quarter to keep the game even close and alive, and Dub at the start of that fourth quarter brought us back. So, I mean, the good thing about this team is even when they like no threes are falling whatsoever, and they're just getting outplayed, like they don't quit at all. I mean, in that last game, going up against the Dallas Mavericks, they were out of it pretty much. It seems like it was over, and they brought it back, and Lou had a very difficult look at a 3, but there still was a look at the end of the game to win. Like that game seemed like it was dead in the water. This one they were down by over 20 points, and they brought it back to within a few points at the end. It just took Zach Collins drilling a corner 3 over the outstretched arm of a defender, because of course it did. And Chris Paul, Thunder legend, hitting step back 3s over defenders and
with
stuff
a broken
like that.
thumb.
Incredible. Yeah, like it's basketball. It's going to happen at sports, but with basketball in particular, there are going to be these nights with the rise of the 3-point shot where it's like the other teams just hit more threes. There's just, it happens. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people feel like there's a need to decipher everything that went wrong in a game. And yeah, I mean, it's fun to talk about that. And there were things that went wrong. There were things the team needs to be better at. But I feel like a lot of that will come with better health and just getting more into the rhythm of the season, building more chemistry with this group. And I mean, again, last season, I believe we started 3-3 and people were freaking out like, oh my God, what's going on? And then we were the 1 seed in the Western Conference. So.
Yeah, Alex, I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned in the chat about this, you mentioned that you were kind of not annoyed. I guess you were just
I was.
against.
No, I was.
Oh, you are annoyed. Okay, you're annoyed about the amount of threes the Thunder are taking.
53.
I mean, so it's and I think it may be like just that they weren't falling, because believe me, it's a make or miss league. When we're making them, it looks beautiful. When we're making them, it's the lovely offense out there. But it just felt like tonight, it was being forced a little bit. Like I think they saw a little bit of daylight and they were just jacking it up when they could have maybe run a little bit more offense, hunted a better shot. I don't know. I just there was literally a stretch that I was watching that it was like
I think I know what you're
every
talking
shot.
about.
I think it was in the third quarter too. I think every shot was like a 3-pointer, and it was just like, this is what like Charles Barkley and Shaq. And I know they could be like, they could come off as like curmudgeons and as like, get off my lawn, old men sometimes. But this is where, like, I think people say like the game kind of looks. It's not as fun because you're just seeing a bunch of misses and not necessarily makes, not necessarily basketball being played out there. And it just felt that way for a little bit there in the third quarter. I think the only shots that were, the only drives were Shea, and that was it. This was at a point where I think Dub was out of the game for that long stretch in the third quarter. And it looked a little bit ugly. It looked a little bit forced. And again, that was during the time that Flagler was in the game. That was, and it was just, it didn't look good. But I guess this is what the Thunder want to do in this regular season in preparation for the playoffs. So that's it. I mean, it was just, I say annoyed. It was probably just it's probably just a combination of a whole bunch of things with this game that was just pretty annoying at that point, especially in the third quarter. But it just felt like, we don't have to hunt the 3-pointer every time. Like, you can drive to the basket, you can create, action, you create movement in that respect. And it just felt like they were just looking for the one guy that maybe, have a sliver of openness to go ahead and shoot a 3.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's 2020. Like, if we are shooting like 36, 37% tonight, even or above that, I think you're like, they were open shots. But I do see what you're saying, because there was a stretch. I think it was in the same part you're thinking of, where it wasn't that, like, the Boston Celtics style of like drive and kick until you find something. It was like Shea didn't even get the ball in his hands, and then he was just shooting a 3. And it's like, I don't know if you should be doing that as much. But I also think, sort of zooming out, big picture, I think that it can be a little bit nitpicky there to be like, that's kind of the problem. I think it's just, if you have a normal quote unquote shooting night, it probably isn't a factor that we even consider. Be like, why are we taking all these threes? Because they're, like you said, they're going in. So
and I think when people are saying that we need another ball handler, it's for situations like this. I think that I don't think Queso, as much as we love him, as much as he has his strengths as far as being a great defender, I don't think his game is necessarily that as a playmaking point guard type guard, at least at this point. And this is where a guy like AJ Mitchell, maybe giving him a little bit more time out there, a guy, like Topic in the future, is going to be, it's going to come up big for us, because we do need those extra ball handlers out there to be able to create, to be able to get into situations where the defense reacts and then they can find the open man. And I don't think, when it's just Shea out there, the defense can completely key in on him and make life that much more difficult on him, or Dub whenever he's out there by himself.
Case Moll's career high in assists tonight, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, get cooked, fraud.
Yeah.
I see what people were talking about with the ball
How many was that?
thing.
Like 4?
7.
7.
Put some respect
Take
on his
that.
name, sir.
Yeah, I do feel like Kaysen had overall like a pretty decent game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the
5 of 8
shining.
shooting, 3 of 5 from downtown, 13 points, 3 runs, 7 assists. Yeah, definitely one of his better games of the season. It was like you remember,
I'm
like,
not
hey,
shitting on him. I'm just letting
I
you
know,
know
no.
I'm not shitting on him.
Nope,
I'm
you are.
getting to your point.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I'm getting to your point, but I just want to say, like, this is an example of people like freaking out about like Caruso shooting and all these different things. Like, Kaysen has been really bad offensively this season, and then tonight he has a really good offensive game, and I'm sure more of these are going to continue to stack up. So that's just part of the thing I'm going with that. But yeah, I do think considering getting another ball handler is always an option. It can never hurt to have more guys that can handle it. Create plays with the rock in their hands, and I believe that's the vision with Topic when he comes around next season. But obviously that's not happening for now. So I do think that's something that's a little bit interesting to consider as we get towards the trade deadline. If we're making some type of move, I wouldn't hate the idea of grabbing another guy to be able to handle the ball a little bit. But obviously Shea and Dub can do that and can create for themselves and others. And Kaysen they're trying to get him more reps with that. And Caruso is capable of it as well. And, Age is doing some pretty solid stuff, but I don't think it would hurt to possibly add just another guard to the team. I know people hate the guards, but.
And again, looking forward, he did this for the Knicks last year, and he could possibly do it for our team. So it may just be a situation where you have, playmaking through numbers, through Hartenstein, through Caruso, through Shea, through Dub, through Queso, so it may just be a situation where we just got to get pieces in there to go ahead and run an offense that actually uses those things.
There actually is a name that I brought up last year. I know
Dwight
some people are starting to push it now. No, not a big guy, a ball handler. He was actually linked to us at the trade deadline by a friend of the podcast, Brett Siegel of Clutch Points. And he is a teammate of Isaiah Hartenstein on the German Olympic team and has played pretty good this year in his minutes and has played at Oklahoma City before alongside Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder.
And it's funny. That was the name I was going to mention. Schroeder's been great this season. He's been awesome. And apparently the reports are that the Nets are ready to have a fire sale. So
yeah, they're winning too much.
Yeah, they're winning too much. It's definitely interesting. Like, he's a name that I think would be interesting. Always think about Colin Sexton as well as one of those guys. He's really good. Those are two of the primary names that do come to mind, though. Yeah, but Schroeder's been awesome this season, and he, wouldn't hey bring back the Thunder legend? It's obviously like this isn't a necessary thing right now, but just thinking about it a little bit.
How much is he making this year?
Schroeder's not making much at all. Pretty sure it's like a really small or no, he might still have one more year left on his 25 on the 12 mil deal. Yeah, he's making 13 mil. Yeah, so he's got 1 year left on that. We have an exception though, I believe, don't we?
We don't.
We don't have an exception? I thought we had one for some reason.
That's tough. Yeah,
I mean, we don't have a TPE. We may have like a room exception or whatever, one of those types of exceptions.
We
don't have a TPE.
Computer's so slow.
Yeah, we don't have any trade exceptions right now, no. So bringing back Caruso or not bringing back Schroeder would be kind of difficult. Like, it would have to be
Jang and somebody else.
It has to be Kenrich and Zhang, I think.
A lot of salary, yeah.
My heart.
Yeah.
My heart is hurt and also healed at the same time.
So on that note, so kind of, backing off of that, I was looking at our app sheet, and
which you can find at our website.
Yes, which you can find at our website, okctopicthunder.com. We have our assets, we have our, our player salaries, everything's on there and everything's up to date. But I was looking at that, and we're going to have to make a consolidation trade here soon. And that's going to hurt. Not hurt like our team, but that's going to hurt our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really think, I think Jang is expendable for as much as we, we love Jang Gang and everything. I think he is expendable. But I think somebody like Jay Will or somebody like Kenrich could be one of those players that has to be sacrificed in order to make way for maybe a couple rookies next year. It's gonna hurt, and it's coming soon.
Yeah, Kenrich is at 6 million, 6.5 million, and Jang at 5.
Yeah. It actually looks like the Thunder could just get Schroeder with Kenrich. That's it.
Let's go.
According to Fanspo.
Fired up.
According to Fanspo, who I trust. But Kenny Hustle introduced our podcast, so sorry.
Oh,
no.
he did.
Yeah, it's no deal.
We don't want to start a curse here.
No.
Yeah, not allowed. Sorry.
Call it up.
Started a curse. What do you mean?
Listen to the intro, brother. You cannot do that.
Thunder legend Justin Patton.
Was that our first one, Justin Patton?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to bring up one more question about the game. And then we can kind of trail off a little bit if you want to. But Mark changed up the Shea rotation a lot tonight. So he came out at 5:25 in the first quarter, came back in with about a minute left. And then same thing second quarter, came out 5:18, came back with about 2 minutes left. Then he did his normal thing where he plays the entire third and then, sits out the first 4 to 6 minutes of the fourth. I think he sat the first 4 minutes this time. Then he came back in the fourth quarter. But how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that could contribute to, us kind of being off rhythm in those stretches tonight? Like, what do you think about the rotation patterns?
I think it's just Mark just trying stuff.
He's just doing to do.
Yeah, Mark kind of just does things. I do think I thought it was weird the fact that he it was a very odd pattern because I feel like it's always been there's always been slight experimentation, but it's pretty usually Shea plays the first 12 minutes, sits, comes back in with 5-6 minutes left in the second, 12, 6. It's usually just kind of the way it goes. But yeah, a lot of in and out it felt like in this game, and it didn't affect Shea. I mean, Shea was awesome tonight. But yeah, it was a little bit weird. I would love to hear the reasoning behind why he decided to try out that rotation. I don't know if anybody asked it post game, but
they're might be able to find it. But it was that, and then it was kind of a combination of just he had 11 guys play in the first 13 minutes or something like that. That very experimental, which also is kind of funny because it just unfortunately shows that the in-season tournament is a very not serious thing, because I don't think Mark is going to do that in an actual playoff game or an actual tournament style game that matters. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting, but yeah, it was very experimental, but who knows why.
I'll be completely honest with you. Outside of pride, they get a couple days of rest because they have to wait for those 2 games to be put into the schedule or whatever. Yeah. I think the Thunder take that. I think they are exhausted. I think they are tired. I think their legs are tired. And I think those extra days of rest, I know we're getting 4 days of rest here after the Portland game. But in early December, if you can get a couple more days of rest because they have those games kind of spaced out, I think that would be lovely for the team.
My tinfoil hat just got on. You made me think of an idea of what I won't say out loud, but almost wondering if Mark's lineup changes were intentional. I'll just leave it at that.
I would say that he definitely chose this game to experiment a little bit, but I don't think it was because of the in-season tournament. I think it was because it was the Spurs without Victor Wembanyama and Devin Vassell. Personally,
yeah,
but
their top 3 scorers. You're not. You probably are more willing to get a little outside the box.
Dylan, I'm gonna need you to conjure up some BBN magic or whatever the hell, and tell your former Wildcats to stop.
Kick them all out, dude. Except for
Keldon Johnson. Keldon Johnson was shooting 20-some% from 3 coming into this game, by the way.
PJ Washington.
Yeah. You guys know how many points PJ Washington had tonight?
Yes, I do, Dylan.
By the way, we're taking Keldon Johnson under points whenever they play next. That is a lock.
Exactly.
That's a lock.
PJ had 4 points tonight on 2 of 9 shooting, in case anyone was wondering, and didn't hit a 3.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the old PJ.
That 6 rebounds.
that to me though was like why I was kind of okay with the first half where it was, because it was like Keldon Johnson's not going to go 6 of 7 or 5 of 6, whatever he was from three in the second half, and he was awful. But yeah, like we've already talked about, he's a lot of other things too. But yeah, his first half was ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, Chris Paul hasn't. I mean, I know we're talking about the Kentucky role players killing us, and Keldon Johnson was definitely like that guy tonight for that. But Chris Paul hasn't been shooting that great this year either. And like that last one he hit over Dort, that fall away one, was nuts.
Yeah,
like that.
Crazy.
That was one of the loudest pops I've heard in like the Spurs arena all year.
Dylan, are any Kentucky Wildcats on the Portland Trail Blazers that we should be aware of before tomorrow?
Yes, there is.
Yes,
Oh, no.
there is, and he has been popping
Shaden
off.
Sharp.
Yep. Take the over on Shaden Sharp. Then
the problem is the only
He's
people
not a
who really
role
pop
player.
off. Yeah, the thing is, the people that pop off are guys who have been playing badly, but then they face the Thunder, and it's like, okay, cool, I know how to play basketball again. So
Yeah.
Is there
they
anybody
don't have
else?
any Kentucky Wildcats who have been playing badly this season and can remember how to play basketball, so we should be good.
Okay.
Hey, we survived Antonio Reeves against the Pelicans. All right, we were due.
Yeah.
We do have Trey Lyles coming up against the Kings though.
It's okay.
Ooh, watch out now.
That
That's
is
one.
honestly, that is a guy that
Circle.
would.
Circle
It's
it.
okay. iHeart will be back.
Trey
He's
Lyles.
going to fix this nonsense.
Mhm. It must be stopped.
Hey, Trey
This
Lyles, any
trend.
one of the Wildcats that you hate?
I don't hate him. He just doesn't do much for me. He was terrible. He was. I'm pretty sure he was part of the reason we lost to Wisconsin that year when we should have went undefeated because he couldn't hit a free throw to save his life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a problem. I feel like until we get some defense back.
The most unfortunate thing about this whole thing is it really hurts our ability to advance in the Emirates NBA Cup Group B.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
devastating.
especially with Dalton Connect scoring 37 points.
Hey, but the Jazz came back and muddied up the point differential a little bit. So
Start bench cut, guys. Kentucky Thunder Killers. This is going to be kind of
they all
meme-ish,
start.
but
They'll start.
They all start.
Keldon Johnson, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis.
Specifically in terms of how they kill the Thunder, it's
Yes.
PJ Keldon. And
It's very
start-
much in that order.
start PJ, cut or bench Keldon, cut Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Anthony Davis can get out of here.
By the way, we play the Warriors and Lakers back to back coming up here soon.
That's
Sick.
lovely. You know what's wild is
It's
we've
not-
only played 3 Eastern Conference teams so far. Like we haven't.
Yeah, I
got
would
to
love
play
to get some of our
far.
Eastern Conference games out of the way, please.
Mhm. So Adam Silver, please
only do we play-
redo the schedule until iHeart gets back.
Play and the Lakers, but we play Sacramento first. We usually completely shit the bed the first time we go to Arco or whatever that arena's Golden One or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
We usually shit the bed the first time we go there every season. So fully expecting us to be down by like 25 by the time the second half starts on that game.
Yeah, Fox is going nuts too.
He is. Yeah.
I forgot to mention something that I wanted to bring up for the game that happened today. So I apologize if I'm shifting the conversation. For our YouTube listeners, I wanted to show this. Did you guys see Adam Flagler had his pants on backwards today?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I did. I wonder if that contributed to him shooting poorly.
I
Of
did.
course
I
it
had that
did.
thought. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
I thought that was
the
an
type of
important
stuff
thing
that
to bring
happens
up.
to the Thunder.
yeah.
it's tighter up front, brother.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, I would notice that immediately. I'd be like, "What is it? Like, why do my pants feel
Yeah.
weird?"
That almost makes me think he didn't think he was going to play today, because it's like, how do you in a real situation actually get your pants on like that?
Go out there in his warm-ups.
Yeah,
Hey man, we've all done it at some point.
we've all been there.
We've all
Yep,
put on our
I've-
pants backwards. I will say I've never been in an NBA game with my pants on backwards. That is literally like the bad dream you have where you get into an NBA game and you're like, oh, my dreams. And then you're like naked or your pants are on backwards or you're just not wearing pants. And you're like, oh my God. So he's living out our nightmares.
I was
I
about to
did
say it
wear-
sounds like a nightmare.
I did wear a
Sounds
shirt
like a Kanye West
backwards.
song.
Oh, I
wore a
put
shirt
on a
backwards
hoodie
too,
in the
too.
dark, and I haven't realized it's backwards until like I pull it over my head and the hood's just in my face, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's a pretty dead giveaway.
it's
That's how
tough.
Keep your
that
face
goes.
warm.
Tierney, I think we should do a quick parlay for tomorrow, but I don't think any of us should say anything except for the guy that's on an absolute heater and Mr.
Quick one up,
Underdog
Cone.
Cone.
I am on a heater right now. You could always use code Conan Underdog. Yeah,
Can
man.
you give us a 5-leg, man?
Give us a
I could
a five.
I could try. I mean,
On the
so yeah, I was 5 Tyrese Halliburton points away from hitting 3 in 3 days. Because
Nice.
Halliburton, and he had 2 threes wiped away because he put them up after the shot clock expired. So
Gosh.
that was upsetting. But yeah, we've got a solid $977 hit the other night, and tonight was $629. So that's been good.
Pretty good.
I mean, I can take a look at kind of what we got going on. The key has been it's all been within a single game. Because I feel like it's easier to predict like one game script rather than having to go to all these different matchups.
Fair.
Tomorrow's slate's kind of ugly. I won't lie.
I don't know why the Thunder line is not up yet.
Yeah, there's nothing up for the Thunder game yet, so I can't even consider that. The games they have up right now are New Orleans and Cleveland, and I think the Cavs bounced back in a big way after losing tonight. Garland was awful, and they still were kind of close in that game. Chicago, Milwaukee is kind of interesting. That's one where the point total I think could get run up. Indiana versus Houston, Atlanta, Golden State, Knicks, Suns, Magic, Clippers are the games that are out there tomorrow. So there's not a lot of super good ones. It's kind of ugly.
Does Philly play tomorrow?
Philly plays the Grizzlies, but yeah, nothing's up yet because they probably don't know whether or not Embiid or Max. I think Maxey in particular, he's questionable for tomorrow. He might be back. So
I would take whatever like in favor of Philly for that game. I think they are due.
Point spread.
Yeah, I think they're due. I think they had the team only meeting, and usually teams come out pretty focused after that.
Get a fire in them.
Dude, speaking of Kentucky guys, like, what about Tyrese Maxey putting on his big boy pants and telling Embiid to like step up?
That was crazy.
And they said stop being late to stuff.
Stop being late to every activity.
That's crazy.
Embiid's just like me for real. Did y'all see Russell Westbrook scored 200 points tonight?
Yeah, shout out. That was awesome.
Big game from him. Big game.
Scored 200 points?
Did somebody say that?
Yeah, 200 points.
No, he got his 200th career triple double, and so he posted it, or they took a picture of him holding like the piece of paper that says 200, so it looks like he scored 200 tonight. And that's what I'm going to tell my grandkids. I'm going to be like, y'all don't remember when Thunder legend Russell Westbrook scored 200 points in a single game.
Good for us. Good for us.
Yeah, I do think tomorrow is going to be a big Embiid game. Because they've been having his like points line at like 21.5 or 22. I think he goes over that tomorrow. He finally kind of looks like himself because Maxey told him to stop being late, so maybe he'll be on time.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I'm not on a hot streak, so apologies if this is a horrible idea.
No.
Cavaliers on a bounce back game. What do we think about that?
I mean, I do kind of think they smoke the Pelicans tomorrow.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Who does the smoking though, Cone? This is what we must know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not in the hot hands here, so
who does the
back
smoking
off
in that game?
I mean, probably Garland.
I was gonna say, it feels like a prime Garland bounce back spot because he just went 3 of 21.
Took his PRA today. It was very, very not close.
Thankfully, I took his assist today, and he got 7, and that's exactly how much he needed.
That was nice. Yeah.
That's another thing too. I try to split it up. Like a lot of times, like people do like just all like points for guys. I try to split it up because it's hard for like if you go over on like 5 different guys' points, it's hard for everyone to get involved that way. Like today, I had Derek White over 2.5 threes. I had Mobley higher than 9.5 rebounds. Garland over on assists. Donovan Mitchell over on points and assists, and Jason Tatum over on just his points. So everybody was something different, which I think also kind of helped out in that front because they weren't stepping on each other's toes. Everybody's trying to get points, and it's kind of just falling apart on that front. So, yeah, I do think the Cavs bounce back and kind of decimate the Pelicans tomorrow. They're 13.5-point favorites. I think the Bucks are building momentum. I think they beat the Bulls, but I could see that being a shootout. Like honestly, that kind of feels like a Vucevic spot.
Is it in Milwaukee or Chicago?
It's in Chicago. Oh no, sorry. It's in Milwaukee.
It's in
My fault. It's in
Milwaukee,
Milwaukee. Yeah. I got confused.
I'm gonna try to do a prop builder while we're going through this. See if we can cook something up.
Everybody live go through and hit these because Cone's on a heater. Before the line moves, quick.
Well, the thing is, I've been doing them right before the game starts, so I need to feel out the vibes a little bit more. This is just a sampler of what the vibes are at the moment.
We haven't got the vibes yet.
Yeah, the vibe. It's all about getting the vibes. But like Levine 20.5 is interesting. I go to the
I take the over on that.
Yeah, because Levine's been.
My quick story, on Underdog, my buddy did streaks. And he got all the way to the 11th one, and he took Levine's over. It was I think it was 19.5, and he took the over. He would have won $3,900. And it was against the Hawks where he had 18 points. He had 12 coming out of the half, and he finished with 18 points, and he missed it. He had to cash out for $1,400.
Mistake betting against any player going up against the Great Barrier Thief over there, Dyson Daniels.
I love that name.
That's amazing.
Great Barrier Thief.
Y'all see he's on pace right now to over double the deflections record in a single season.
I just feel like eventually it's going to go down, and then it just doesn't. He just keeps doing it.
Yeah, that's
insane.
Like yesterday was one of his worst games. Like yesterday was a game where he finally wasn't racking up a bunch of steals. He had 0 yesterday, and he sold 4 blocks, including the game-winning block on De'Aaron Fox. So
I thought he had a game-winning steal. I guess that was 2 games.
No, yesterday they considered it a block. Like he was kind of going up a little bit. They called it a block. It was one of those it could have been either one.
Yeah, he's crazy defensively.
Yeah, bro. He had in that 4-game stretch where he had 7, 6, 6, 6 steals. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Have 25 in 4 games is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can see
right there.
That is Shea numbers. I could see Levine having a good game going up against the Bucks. I go see Giannis just decimating them because there's really nobody to slow him down. I kind of like the idea of Embiid bouncing back tomorrow against the Grizzlies. I'm not touching anything revolving around Tyrese Halliburton at this point. That guy just sucks.
He's bad. Bad at numbers.
Specifically on the road. At home, he's been okay. On the road, he's been terrible so far this season. And he's on the road again tomorrow, so I don't want to touch that.
I'm getting luck with Cat every now and then with points, but points are
Trae Young assists. Maybe not. They have him at 10.5. Maybe bringing that down a little bit to 8.5 or 9.5 is interesting because he's been the last game. I think he had 18 dimes.
Yeah, he's been diming up like crazy.
19. Sorry, I was underestimating. And they're playing the Warriors, so that's a little bit tough. But I don't know. I think that's gonna be a closer game than people are expecting. That feels like one that will be a little bit closer. What do they have Dyson Daniels steals at?
I was just looking that up right now.
They don't have it listed. That would be a fun. They're having it at 2.5.
5 plus steals
Yeah,
at plus 2,000. I would take.
I mean, Knicks Phoenix. That's a cat spot if I've ever seen one. Going up against Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
Cat could go crazy there. They have him listed at 25.5 points. That is high.
Yeah, I was like, I like it.
I like his 11.5. I like 11.5 rebounds though from Cat.
He had 24 and 26 his last 2 games.
Yeah, he's kind of always right around that. I mean, he's averaging 26 for the season, but I kind of like Cat's rebounds a little bit more, I think, at that 11.5. That feels pretty easy to get against Nurkic. So those are a few things that I like at this point, which actually, while we're on the topic of Nurkic, what do y'all think he's shooting from the field right now? Reminder, he is their center.
Oh, gosh.
42%.
47.
Ooh, you all are a little bit too confident. 38.5% from the field as a
good.
big man.
It's not
26% from 3 for a grand total of 8.5 points a game.
Not good. Bad. Poo-poo.
That's rough.
Yeah. I mean, between the Thunder and Kings games, he went over those 2 games. He went 1 for 14 from the field.
Gosh,
that's double.
We didn't even have a big man.
No, we didn't have a big man. He went 0 for 7 against us.
That's nuts.
That kind of puts it in perspective now that maybe the small ball was just Nurkic is really bad.
Well, I mean,
That could be a
we
factor.
succeeded against Zubac, and Zubac's
I know we
killing
did. It
people.
was back-to-back games, but still, it's like maybe we overhyped that a little bit.
I
But
think
again,
it's a
it was
combination of, like, as Alex said, and I said before Alex came on the stream, like, game film, like 3 games, like, it worked and it was fine. But 3 games is all you need to get game film on to try to figure something out for NBA teams to kind of break something down. And also, like we said, it's not sustainable, man. Like, you're asking guys to play out of position, you're asking guys to play down low and bang with big bodies, and the wear and tear of that is gonna like slow you down. It's gonna wear you down. It's just gonna happen. And it's awesome. Like, I was talking about Dolan on Friday. It's awesome we picked up those 3 wins. I'm thrilled. Anything else was gonna be house money, and we haven't got nothing else yet. So let's just hope we get it.
Yeah.
Give me a
Thanks
dub
a
against the
couple dubs.
Blazers tomorrow, going into the iHeart return against the Kings, and I'm feeling good.
Mhm.
Feeling great.
That'd be great. That would be phenomenal. Are you predicting an iHeart return for the Sacramento game, Cone?
I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
It
I'll
just
put that on the betting card.
I think it just makes way too much sense. Like, because if it's not
he's at 5 weeks on Thursday.
Wasn't it
like
4 to 6 is the timeline?
4 to 6, yeah.
yeah, and just the fact that he's had the brace off for a little while now, we see him like dribbling and stuff pregame, like he looks pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah.
I just feel like with having those 5 days, I don't know. I just think you get him back before the road trip, because then you have 4 straight games on the road with the Kings, the Warriors, the Lakers, and the Rockets. I feel like you get him back for those games. I mean, if it's not then maybe it's like against the Jazz on December 3rd. But we really need him back before that little stretch right there.
Yeah.
Don't we like a big West Coast stretch there? It's like
That is it.
3 games.
Yeah.
Those
That
4
home
games.
game on December 3rd would make sense too.
Yeah, and then we go back on the road.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards the home game, but the only rationale is that you don't want to have him getting back into the lineup on a big road trip like that, but I don't know why that wouldn't be a problem. So
yeah, I don't think
I'm gonna hope for next week.
Yeah,
5 days.
I've also been saying that that road trip, like, it just makes sense. Like, you get the huge like gap and like just without games, so you get like 5 days break, and then obviously the road trip, and it's right around the time that he's supposed to be ready to go. It's like a perfect storm, and it couldn't come at a better time, like, because I'll tell you right now, we're talking about betting. If Hartenstein isn't back for the Kings game, take every over available on Domantas Sabonis, because he is getting it.
He didn't play for Kentucky though, so I'm not sure why you would say that. But
This is fair. This is fair.
Interesting.
Hey, Chris Paul didn't either, but he played for the Thunder revenge game.
That's true. Maybe there's that pattern as well.
Hey, Brandon Boston had an okay game against us. He was a role player.
Yeah, he did.
I think that was a situation where somebody had to score the ball on that team.
Hey, he's been doing good. He's been doing good for him.
Yeah.
He changed his name and he figured out how to play basketball.
He's on that Jeremy Lamb plan right there.
There you go. Well, fellas, it's 1:30 on the East Coast right now. I mean, I've got to go to bed soon. I know Cone's probably going to stay up for like the next couple hours, but
Literally,
you guys
been up
have
for
anything
20
else
hours.
to say?
I'm so tired.
No,
I have nothing left.
No, just a reminder, y'all, that this is what being a contender is like to everyone listening. It feels, and I think it was Prest who said, like, it feels like the sky's falling multiple times a season.
Yeah.
Like, y'all, imagine we're in the finals in June, or by the time
remember this.
Yeah, by the time we get to the playoffs, nobody's going to have any thought about this Spurs loss on November 19th. Like, no one's going to care about that. When Chet comes back and, Isaiah Hartenstein's in the lineup, like, we're going to be perfectly fine. You don't need to be, like, freaking out, like, oh, my God, is it all over for the team at this point? everybody has those moments. Every team this season so far has had some type of bad loss outside of like the Cavaliers. Like that's the only team that's not had a bad loss up until this point. And, there's still plenty of time. So,
and they will have some.
Yeah. And there's never been a team in NBA history that has not had a bad loss in a season. It has never happened. So,
we'll have to check the numbers on that, Cone, but we'll see. I'm not totally sure.
You want to bet against me right now?
Yeah, that's true. My bad.
Hey, he's hot. He's on a heater.
It's gonna be fun when we were lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy, and we recall when we talked about starting Brendan Carlson in a game against the Spurs. That's what we're gonna remember for sure.
I will say that, also like just, in perspective, Shea is like back. People had worries about Shea early in the season. He is his MVP self. He has found a way to have his cake and eat it too. He's driving. He's getting to the rim. He's not getting calls, but he's also shooting high volume threes in spots. Like he didn't have to last game because he was literally taking what the defense gave him, and they gave him middies and walk to the rim. Tonight, he took 8 threes. He hit 5 of them. Like, I am thrilled with that result. I'm thrilled with that process. But, Shea's playing MVP level. We are seeing a new level out of Jalen Williams. And I just want to say we only saw a small snippet of Chet and Jalen Williams healthy together this year. I know Jalen Williams was playing the whole season, but you could tell, early on, he was still bothered by that ankle. I think, I think the Nuggets game when he almost had a triple-double, that was the start of him really starting to come into his own health-wise. And, of course, Chet got injured 2 games after that. So we haven't fully seen this team healthy as a unit yet, even without Hartenstein. Better days are yet to come, man. We're still a really good team. Even these games we're losing in, it's close. We're fighting till the very end. We're not rolling over and dying. That was something that was instilled in this team back in the rebuilding years, and it's carried over into the contending years. And, we got a good team. It's going to be fine. Just take a deep breath. It's a bad loss. We move on. We play the Blazers tomorrow. So,
yeah, I mean, we're no longer the Alex is out there getting ready to hoop. Alex, I'm getting some shots.
Yeah,
you getting some
when
shots
you can,
up, Alex?
baby.
Let's go.
Take a shot right now.
Hey, Alex is actually practicing his half-court shot for March 21st, the Top of Thunder fan event against the Charlotte Hornets, which, by the way, Trey Mann absolutely put Noah Clowney in a body bag today.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah, what a dunk.
You could possibly see him try to do that to a Thunder player on March 21st. You can see LaMelo Ball, who is having a borderline All-NBA season, just individually in his stats, and just a really fun Hornets team. Probably lose to the Thunder. With all of your favorite podcasters at the Top Thunder Podcast and about 100, 150, 200 of fellow listeners as well. You get to go down to the court, take a picture. You get to shoot a half-court shot like Alex is practicing right now. You can't see him shooting because they all go in. And if you make that, you get a basketball signed by the entire team. We have 3 pricing options. We got lower level, club level, upper level. You can find that information on our Twitter at OKC Topic Thunder. We're working on getting that to our Blue Sky if you are on Blue Sky, and we will have the link to the description in our podcast. So definitely don't miss out on that. It's going to be an absolute blast. It's been an absolute blast, and we're still working on making it better. Right now, we're trying to figure out a staying arrangement. Once we figure out staying arrangement, we're going to work on the next part. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss out. And practice your half-court shot because Alex is about to take that.
Mm-hmm. The shot is farther than you think, so practice from beyond half court.
Mm-hmm. You got to train. Full court, start there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, we didn't do an intro to the pod, but you have listened to the Top of Thunder podcast. I hope you've enjoyed your stay. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you are not already, hit the notification bell so you miss out when we go live. Comment down below how you're feeling about the Thunder season so far. And we will be back on Friday.